Anyway, but I'm more curious about where does because our government has actually said they kind of tailed it where it's like this is how we're going to be efficient, blah blah blah, and AI will help with that in such a blanket vague statement. And I was like, what does that even mean? And then I'm going to go back to my experience knowing, hey, there are some things, tasks, lots of really, really repetitive Form J to Form X and your whatever that could be automated with AI. No, not even a question. Even basic custom GPTs, basic prompting will take care of those tasks. So I'm curious to see if how that organization, what does that even like what does an organization look like, let's say 20 years from now, probably not, probably longer for federal government. What does that start to look like? Will the roles that did a lot of those tasks, be will they not exist because of attrition? And then will new roles exist because of that effect that now, hey, you can deploy these resources, these people to do something completely different in the federal government scene, which sometimes the government actually is not, it's not in a bad place where they can see all that stuff and then they can add those roles after the fact when it's a little bit more established rather than kind of bleeding edge and no one knows what the heck's going on, right? So curious to see, because that's what our government has, that in one of the lines they signed an MOU with Cohere a couple days ago. I don't know what a memorandum, like, I don't know what that even means. Like, that could mean anything. Specifically with Cohere, Canadian company, obviously. So I'm just curious, like, what does that look from a government perspective and all the vendors and stuff like that?
And I forget who I was listening to, but the quote essentially was, "We've had essentially the same amount of government workers since the '60s." And so, if you're talking about efficiencies, how much has our population grown since the '60s, right? So that's efficiency. That's very efficient, is to have the same amount of people covering the needs of 10 times more people. So I think we have to look at it from a couple of different angles there.